What's going on, everybody? Day 10. Already a third of the way through this. Crazy how time is flying. Today, while we wait for the stream to come through, today we are going to be going over balancing your business with family. I think this came up the other day. So let's talk a little bit about it. Uh, a lot of people think that when you're starting your business, or where you're launching your business, or where you're growing your business, you kind of have to choose, right? Family time or business. Do I invest more time and effort and energy into my business, or should I stop, smell the roses, enjoy time with family? Um, you can have both. But the thing that most people aren't used to is like what it's going to take to have both. Okay. What I mean by you can have both is you don't have to sacrifice your family to build your business. It's probably going to make you feel unfulfilled. And there's already going to be so many different things that you're going to have to learn about self to master this entire game. Just like we've talked about in different trainings, you're going to have to get out of your own way majority of the time. But when we think about family, if you're like me, family actually fuels you up. When you spend more time with your family, it actually makes you perform better. And it's very important that you do spend some time doing some reflection and seeing if that's true for you too. Because if that's true for you, then the thing that you don't want to do is be away from the thing that fuels you up. Like if I don't spend time with my daughters, I'm not in a good mood. I don't feel good because then I feel like a shitbag dad. And even if I'm not a shitbag dad and I give them everything they could possibly ever want or need, for me, time is more valuable than anything else, any possession that I can ever give them, any gift that I can ever give them. Time with their dad is something that is very important to me. So when we think about balance in business and in family, you have to really make a decision of what's important to you. Most people think that getting to the end result in their business is the most important thing. That if I get to the end goal, if I get to my end state, then business will be good. So my family life will be good. What happens with a lot of people is they spend all the time in their business. They spend so much time away from their family. By the time you break through into your business, you're going to have a shittier marriage. You're going to have less of a connection with your kids because they found out a way to have a good time without your ass because you spent too much time in your business. And now you finally got the business moving. You finally got the money coming in that you want to come in, but now you've lost your family. What would be the point of that? And I never understood this when it came to talking to people. And they're like, ah, yeah, I spent so much time in my business. I'm just trying to figure shit out. Is it possible that the reason why you can't solve the problems in your business right now is because you don't have a balance? You're not actually spending time in the right area so you can be at the most optimal performance. Is it possible that the very things that you're neglecting in your life are the very things that would actually help you perform in business? See, my whole thing is I think that people really fail in business because they're neglecting the things that are important: family, health, nutrition, all of the things that actually make you like crush it in life. And even then, mentality, self-care, fucking making sure that you have time doing your own thing away from the business, away from the family. Like there's so many fucking things that you have to be mindful of to have the balance. And that's why I said you don't have to choose between business and family. You can have both. You can have it all, but you're going to have to become more than you ever have. That means you're going to have to wake up a fuck ton earlier. You're going to have to go to the gym earlier than when you don't want to. You're going to have to be even more patient with your wife, with your kids. You got to be more patient in your business. You have to make sure that the time you do spend inside of your business, like you're just going full fucking battle rattle inside of that business, that 1 to 2 hours. And then maybe you spend some time with the kids, take a walk, fucking hit the business again, do whatever you got to do. Every hour of your day has to be intentional. It's not time like scrolling through fucking social media and just consuming like entertainment because it makes you feel like you're catching a break when we both know you probably could have put out more. It's making sure that you maintain that discipline. And that discipline is the thing that's going to give you everything that you want in life. And you're going to have to pay a big price. And that's like you getting used to what the price is that you have to pay to achieve that level of success. See, let's think about it. If you don't believe that you can have business and family life, then you're never going to be able to have it because you're going to resist the ability to do that. So, like tomorrow, if you're just like, hey, I'm going to wake up fucking early tomorrow and I'm going to get my workout in before the babies are awake. I'm gonna do everything, blah, 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 before we go to church, if you guys go to church, whatever. I'm gonna do it before everybody wakes up. Most of you guys won't. You just won't wake up. You won't do the thing. You won't do the hard things. Or if you're just like, hey, I gotta do shit in the morning, I'll do it at the end of the day. What's gonna happen? You're gonna have an excuse as to why you can't show up at the end of the day. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, the kids went crazy. Oh, the business went crazy. Oh, I went overtime inside of the business. So I got to close the loop on that stuff. And then again, you're going to put yourself at the bottom of that list. But you have to remember, you have to be at the top of that list. You have to be at the top of your game so you can give everybody else the best of you. What happens to a lot of business owners is they give like the fucking breadcrumbs to their family. They give like the last of the gas in the tank to their family. They give the fumes to their family. And they're like, I'm trying my best. No, you could have tried harder. No, you could have managed your time better. No, you could have probably been a little bit more disciplined throughout your day to create more time so you can actually spend time with your family. You could probably put into your Google Calendar family time. You could probably put that in the weekends. You can probably put that at the end of your days, but you don't because you let the business control you. And I think that it's very important to just be brutally honest with yourself. A lot of the things about business are just being brutally honest with yourself. And if you know that right now, your business is like in this weird place, and you also know that like your family life is in this weird place because you've been neglecting them. If you had to choose, okay, before we get into like the training of today, if you had to choose, you can only walk away with one. You either get your family or you get your business. What are you choosing? If you can only have one, what would you choose? I choose my family because there's other ways to create. But the family that I got, I can't risk that family. That family is more important to me than again, any possession, anything. And if that's true, then why is it that we wait until like the worst possible scenarios in life to finally like make a change? You guys ever hear about those like people that like just absolutely dominate in business and they get divorced, families in shambles, they get depressed, and then they take their life because like everything's falling to shit. They thought it was about the money, but it was never about the money. You guys ever hear those stories? I hear a lot of those fucking stories, and it's a shitty fucking story to hear because you would think that somebody hyper successful would understand how to prioritize the things that's important to them. So for people like me, business, success, the work, none of it matters if like my family's suffering, if they're struggling, if they don't see me, like it just what's the purpose of that? You get to be the dad that was never there. You get to be the dad that just fucking crushed it in business, and Uncle Bob was the one that showed up to the dance recitals, to all the events, to the doctor's visits, all of that. For me, I prioritize the doctor visits. I prioritize being there because at least in my mind, my kids are never gonna be that age forever. They literally got one shot to be that age, and I got one shot to create those memories. And so I know based on my core values, family is like at the top. Like it is what it is. Like that's what it is for me. That's what makes me show up in business the way that I do. So balancing is not really like this thing that you have to like struggle with. You just have to decide what's important to you. Because what happens is when you choose family and you're just like, I need to be with my family. My family fuels me up. I need to spend time with my wife. I need to spend time with my daughters, my kids, if you got sons. And you're like, that's important to me. What happens is the way that you approach your business completely changes. You start strategizing in different ways because you have less time in the business, which makes you more optimal. The way you make decisions, how you prioritize things completely shifts because it's in a lesser time. I forget what it's called, but basically, if you were to set a very specific amount of time, whether it's a lot of time or a little bit of time, whatever time you allot to that thing, it's going to expand into that allotted time. So if you only give yourself 5 minutes, it'll get done in 5 minutes. If you give yourself an hour, though, you'll take a whole hour. So what that means in business is if you have 1 hour less, 2 hours less per day to work in the business, you're actually going to learn how to be more optimal in less time because of the way you're looking at the problems. Instead of like spending an hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, fucking 30 minutes over there wasting time talking about stupid shit with your team that's irrelevant to the mission, you're going to be like, oh, wait, no, I have less time to do any of this shit. So, out of all the things I can choose for today inside of the business that I need to accomplish, it's one, two, and three. And then you start focusing on the big needle movers inside of the business. And for some reason, even though you work less time in the business and more time with your family, more gets done inside of the business. You're more focused because you're actually focused on like the needle movers. That's how you create balance. It's knowing that you don't have to get everything on this list of 100 things done today. And there's usually like a top one, two, or three things that are the biggest dominoes. And if you knock down those dominoes, the rest of the smaller dominoes fall too. But what happens for a lot of business owners and why they lose time with their families, they spend so much time with these little fucking dominoes. And they're like trying to individually push these dominoes down, but it never creates momentum in the business. So you create more time in the business, less time with the family, and then you just feel like you're in this constant like hamster wheel of bullshit. And you start questioning, like, why the fuck did I do this business in the first place? Like, don't do that. And again, like I've literally gone to people's businesses sometimes, and I'm just like, hey, change this in your schedule. Change this. Like, go on a date with your fucking spouse. Fucking schedule that shit in. Spend time with like schedule some fucking time with your family. And for some reason, no other business strategy, the moment they start prioritizing the thing that fills their cup, they're like, Phil, I just had a record month. I had one of my clients that's like, oh, I just hit like a 30K month. I had another client that's like, I'm pretty sure we're hitting 50 this month. And I'm like, great. What have you been doing different? Oh, I've just been focusing on me. I've just been focusing on the family. I've been focusing on the things that's important to me. And I'm like, imagine that. Because of what you've already done inside of your business, it's already good. Like you just do the same thing, but better. You don't have to get like complicated with new things. It's just if you were at 100% energy, you don't think that you're going to do more business. You don't think your content's going to come off different. You don't think that people are going to want to shake your hand because you just have this like energy about you because you took care of you, because you know you took care of your family, because they gave you that look in the baby's eyes and you're just like, this is why I do this shit. Like my daughter, she's turning 4 months in a couple days, and, she's learning how to smile. She's learning how to, like, show emotions or facial expressions or whatever. But every time I see my little 4-month-old, I'm just like, "Damn, bro, already 4 months. She was just born." Now she's like she's about to eat, like, solid foods. She's about to have some oatmeal, and I'm like, "Man, 4 months already? Time flew." Time flew, and thank God this time because with my firstborn in the middle of a shutdown, I wasn't as present as I could have been. And like that's gonna haunt me forever. And obviously I spent as much time as possible with the first one. But again, after you lose your job in the middle of a shutdown, you kind of got to do what you got to do. So with the second time around, I've been really being intentional with being there, being present, being here with the moment. And shoot, bro, like she's about to start crawling soon. She's already eating. She's about to start eating solids. And it's like, you guys know if you got kids, once the solid foods start, then they're just like picking shit up on their own. Then they're holding the bottles on their own, and then they're just on their own, and they're just like, I don't need you anymore. And it happens quick. But what happens with your business is your business will always be around. Right? Like for me, when I think about it, by the time they're in school, by the time they're in going high school, college, if I wasn't around through their younger years, they won't want me around in the future. Just like your kids will not want you around if you chose the business over them in the years that matter the most. And you guys really think that like your kids are going to give a shit about your standing in business, how awesome you are, what awards you got, again, all these fucking things. The only thing your kids care about is the time they've had with you. Yeah, they could be proud about, like, the success and, like, you being able to put out, but just understand, like, when I ask you, if you can only walk away with one thing, business or your family, which would you choose? If you guys really choose business, you just gotta be honest if that's what you would choose, and you just gotta accept that your family is gonna suffer for that because you're not willing to stretch yourself to the next level to be it all for them. We're like, you're fucking relentless, and you learn how to master yourself at such a level that you can have it all and you can be it all and they can be proud of you and you can have a growing business and you can have a growing family and all of the connections that you've always wanted for yourself you can now give to them. And then you can wake up every day proud like, damn, I do sacrifice a lot. Damn, I do sacrifice more than I ever have. But when you see their smiles, you see their faces, you're just like, fuck, bro, like this is worth it. You know? Like, that's what makes it worth it, guys. Every day, it's not gonna be like, "Damn, today it's worth it. Today, it's worth it all the time." Every day, you're like, "Fuck, dude, I don't wanna do this anymore. Fuck, man, I don't wanna wake up early. Fuck, bro, like, my fucking arthritis hurts and shit. I don't wanna do this." And then you see them smiling and like you just been fucking slayed. You see them smiling, you're just like, "No, no, no. I'm good. I'm good. I just need a second. I just need a second to breathe." You know what I mean? Like, that's what you need. And it's like having this weird expectation that, like, every day you're just gonna be, like, fucking just ready to crush it. Some days you're gonna be like, "Jesus Christ. Jesus. Today, man, it's crazy." But then you look at them, you look at your family, and they're just like you can see how thankful they are that you are who you are for them. Those moments, that one moment out of the week makes it worth it. And you guys have to remember that, like, the whole point of life, at least for me, and what's always made me happy, is learning how to appreciate those moments and make those moments matter to me more than the fucking slay fest it takes to get there. Because you're gonna get slayed. And why does that matter? Why does that have to be a bad thing? Why does it have to be a bad thing to get slayed in business? Isn't that kind of the point? Like, it's just, it's crazy to me. Because I think that there's a lot of us, especially if you guys are like me, there's a lot of us that maybe didn't have the best upbringing. Maybe we weren't as close to our family as we would have wanted to be. And at least for me, I was always like, damn, I want to give my family everything I didn't have. Damn, I want to give my kids the connection to their parents that I never really got or that stopped for me like abruptly. Um, and I made that commitment to myself. And so when I met my wife, we both committed that, like, we both had a lot of struggles with our own families. And we're not going to do that to our kids. We're not going to be those people to our kids. We want to have like great connections and bonds with our kids. And again, at the end of my life, if I have the business or if I had the kids, I'd choose my kids every fucking day. I choose my family every single fucking day. Like, fuck all of the trophies, fuck all of the business success, fuck all of the possessions, fuck all of that, bro. Like, at the end of my life, I could like I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, put all of that at my deathbed." I'm like, "No, give me my kids, give me my wife, give me my family." You guys gotta realize what's important to you because when you do that and you actually, like, feel it, you commit to that, you start putting out in different ways you never thought. Like, I just spent the last week recovering because, like, sometimes my body just flares up like crazy. And so my fitness journey, I gotta be mindful of where my body's at. So for the past week, I've been really cooling it off. And I just hit 100 burpees straight right now, and I'm just like, "Oh, there's not a lot of pain there." So it's, like, good to, like, recover a little bit, but the whole time I was just thinking to myself, like, "Man, how blessed am I to be able to push myself to my absolute fucking limits, to be the best man and father and husband that I can be for my family." You guys try to overcomplicate business too much. Business is easy. Business is like this shit, like relationships. Okay. You build relationships with people, people trust you, they do business with you. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. But then sometimes, it gives us a dopamine hits to like get fucking crazy with the shit that we're learning or implementing. And we try to create complexity in the business because then we feel like, yeah, we're fucking doing it. We're doing the thing, but you're not really getting anywhere. I tell my clients all the time, do the same shit I already taught you, but better. And then my clients that listen, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's fucking dude, it's too easy. It's so easy." I had one of my clients that charges 20 grand for his program. He's like, "Bro, the way that you taught me how to like value myself and value what I do for people, man, it's so easy. Like I take away my program from people who don't want to plug in with me, who are just like wasting fucking time, and then they want to work with me because like I hold myself to that standard. Thank you for showing me how to talk." And I'm like, "Yeah, bro, like, you're not doing anything different. You just know your worth. You know what your time is worth, and any time that's taken away from you or your family, it's worth a lot of fucking money, bro. So you guys have to be more aware of that stuff. Like, don't just build your business for the sake of like building your business. Learn like how you want to build your business, how you want to feel inside of your business. Like, learn all that. God knows I'm still learning to this day. I've built so many disciplines in my life and in business, and at every level requires you to like slow down, adjust, reflect, do what you got to do to optimize to take things even to the next level. And that's the beautiful part about this whole thing. It's like this entire process of learning about yourself. And don't forget to bring your family along for the ride. Don't forget to include your family inside of these conversations so that way you know exactly what they want, what they're happy with. I would always have to ask my wife, like, hey, if I stopped, like, if I was just like, hey, I'm just gonna stay here. I'm not gonna try to grow to the next level. I'm not gonna try to be fucking Tony Robbins or whatever. I'm not gonna try to be the top guy. Would you be good with that? And she was like, And my thought was she'd be like, "Oh," like, I don't know why, but guys, maybe we just think this way. I thought she was gonna somehow give me a thing, was like, "No, you have to be the top guy. You have to blah, blah, blah." That's what I thought she would say. And I was like, "So if I just, like, stopped here, and, like, we just sustained this life forever, would you be happy?" And she looked at me like I was a fucking psychopath. She was like, "I was good, like, a couple levels ago. Like, we didn't even need to get here. You could stop at any fucking like, I don't care about any of this shit. We just wanna spend time with you." Like today, she was like, "Hey, are you working a lot today?" I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "We just wanna spend time with you." And I was like, "Ah, okay. We'll spend time together." And I busted my ass off. And then I'm gonna do this, and then we're gonna go hang out and have some family time. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what's important. But if you don't talk to your family about what's important to them, you might be, like, hustling in a direction where they're just like, "Hey, man, like, that doesn't make us happy, just so you know. That's not for us, that's for you, motherfucker." And my wife has had to be that mirror for me sometimes. She's like, "You do realize everything that you're doing right now is not for us. It's for you now." Because when it was for us, it was a few years ago during the shutdown where I was just trying to provide diapers, where I was just trying to make sure that, like, they have a roof over their head. Like, that was for them. But after that, they didn't care about any of the shit. They didn't care about, like, how big the businesses get. They didn't care about what I was doing. All they cared about was time. And then I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." So everything that I'm doing is just a bonus, and it's not even for you guys. I'm just telling myself it's for you guys, but it's really for me. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So I don't really need to put pressure on myself to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and growing and growing and growing? They're like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense." But I would have never even looked at it from that perspective if I never talked to my wife. And she calls me crazy all the time because she's like, "Oh, yeah, sometimes you'll say you'll slow down, and then you do for, like, a day, and then you're just like, 'Massive fucking idea, push.'" And then I just start sending it again. But sh again, she knows the type of entrepreneur I am, she knows who she married. And so it's like, it's this give and take, it's this balance. But communication is so key. And it's also key is if you guys find yourself, like, saying that you're gonna spend more time with your family, and you say it, right? But you don't find yourself, like, following through with it. Here's the best accountability that you can ever give yourself. And it's something that, like, hits you in the chest, like it should. Look at your fucking babies in the eyes and tell them, "Daddy's gonna spend more time with you every day. After this time, daddy's not working anymore." You look at your fucking kids in the eyes, you tell them that. And when you start getting close to that time, let's say it's 5 p.m., you start getting close to that time, you're gonna remember that look in their fucking eyes when they believed you. And then you're gonna have to choose in that moment the level of accountability. Am I gonna be the dad that actually does what he says he's gonna do and actually spends time with my kids the way that I just literally told them, or am I gonna be a liar? Am I gonna lie to them? Am I gonna tell them that I'm gonna spend more time with them and fucking the next day it's already 5:01 and I'm already past timeline? That level of accountability, guys, just understand it fucking hurts. It hits you in the chest because it's some real shit. And, like, coaches and mentors won't look you in the eyes that way, but your kids will, your wife will. And when you start holding yourself accountable to your family that way, it's different. You just have to operate different, and then like, "Oh, shit. If I gotta cut things off at 5 p.m., I gotta hustle, bro. I gotta move. I gotta be even more, like, militant with my time." And then again, you find that, like, after a week or 2 of just that new cadence, that new rhythm, you're like, "Oh, shit. I'm actually getting more done. Oh, shit. Like, things are actually moving much quicker and much faster because of the way that I'm making decisions now because I have less time." And then you start experiencing this balance of, like, harmony between business and family. So again, guys, like, I have a great relationship with my family, and I say that because I'm proud of it, and I say that because it's been a fucking hard journey to do that and sustain that, maintain that. It's not easy. There's gonna be days where you're gonna get pushed, and you're just like, "Man, I have no fucking patience right now for this shit." And especially depending on what age your kids are, sometimes they're gonna push you on the days where you got nothing, and you gotta find it in yourself to not take your shit out on them. It's important that when your spouse starts asking you for time or attention, that you don't take it out on her. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna require you to level up because it's not as easy as, "Hey, we're gonna spend time together." We all know there's complexities in family. But when you can choose to be hyper aware of those times and those things, and you choose to be the best version of you in those moments, all of those, like, things that could have turned out completely bad, where you would have maybe snapped on your kids, snapped on your wife, they won't exist because you're in control. And because you practice that in your personal life inside of your business, you're gonna have like this other sense of control because you're like, oh, well, if I can create this version of me that just really crushes it as a dad, as a husband, why wouldn't I win in business? Why wouldn't people trust me when I'm like a good fucking person? You know, and you have to remember, like, that's business. People are like buying you. Whatever you sell, coaching, consulting, services, whatever the fuck, people are buying you. And if you're a good human, you're a good person, and you intentionally try to be the best you can be, you keep your fitness right, you keep your nutrition right, you keep your time with your family right, you do right by them, and then you put into your business, like you actually put into your business and hustle and grind and do the work. Just by you being you, you're gonna attract people that want to do business with you. It's just it's just what it is. You like that's why I'm saying business is not as complicated as sometimes we can make it out to be. And if you guys simplify that again, like you won't have to sacrifice the things that you would actually want at your deathbed, which is your family, not your fucking business and your Slack account. Like you don't want your laptop with you as like you're dying. You're not like, oh, I need to check Slack one more time. Like nobody's fucking doing that. Like, let me see my fucking kids. You know? So just get very clear on what's important to you. Learn how to structure your day and your weeks and your months so you allot time with them and for them. Take your kids out on dates, take your wife out on dates, spend some time with yourself, and then adjust your business so that way you're focused on the highest leverage task possible. That's how you win at this game. All right? So that's all I got for you guys today. It is very important that you do prioritize the things that are important to you because man, I just I see a lot of people, I'm even coaching somebody who's in this specific space. I see a lot of people that lose their families because they've spent too much time prioritizing the business. When it's like that business will be there when your kids aren't there anymore, you know? But your kids won't always be there, and they're not always gonna want you. So, like, just understand how to zoom out from the hustle and the grind of the day to day, because I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. All right. If you guys need help with this stuff, if you need help battle planning, strategizing, you guys can always hit me up. Okay. You can hit me up on socials. You can go to philbohol.com/case study or /contact if you just want to text me. But just understand this game is more fun when you're playing with the right players, people that actually take shit serious. So anyway, guys, much love. Kill this lie. Yeah. Family. I can talk about family all day. But that's it, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. Much love as always, and just keep crushing it. Peace, guys.